Hey, what's going on, Fantasy Flavor Podcast, YouTube channel, viewers, listeners, whatever you are awesome. It is April 26, 2020, and we are doing our rookie tight end rankings. I am joined with Trenton Roberts. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, that's basically my motto at the beginning of every episode, it
Doing
seems.
great.
I gotta figure out something new.
Yeah, well, you're doing great because you get to see me, am I right?
Oh, that's the one thing pulling me down from
All
amazing.
right, I have something, that's behind this hand. You could guess what it is. But to start off, we're just gonna be doing a rookie tight end rankings. If you're on YouTube, you can see it on screen as well as our faces hello. You can also on podcast platforms, there should be a link in the description. If there's not, feel free to tweet at me, feel free to comment. However, reach out to me. I might forget. So I just want to let you know, feel free to reach out to me. That might be my bad. Okay, so let's begin. Our consensus tight end number one here is Cole Kmet. Sanatin also had him ranked 1 with you. I had it ranked 2. Fortunately, Sanatin can't join us here. So, what do you kind of think about Cole Kmet? Why should he be number 1?
He's I don't know. I'm kind of going back and
Yeah.
forth. Since we talked about it earlier, I might move Troutman up to my one,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think Komet is the more well-rounded and versatile prospect. It's similar to Hawk and Fant last
Yeah.
season, except a lot more trash prospects. But it's that one guy that's do it all in Komet that will be on the field a lot and will get a lot of opportunity just being on the field
Mm-hmm.
versus Trotman, who's a good receiving tight end but doesn't block as much. So I think Trotman might have the higher upside, but I think Komet has that higher floor. It's just preference for you guys. So
This tight end trash is so class. Honestly, if you had my number 6 guy number 1, honestly, Bryson Hopkins is really that good. I don't get it, but honestly, it's so bad. This is garbage. This is the worst tight end class I've ever seen. It's not close. I was higher on guys like Hunter Bryant, and he didn't even get drafted to. Albert O is another guy I liked. He went really late. Thaddeus Moss was a guy I thought might be drafted based off a name. Nope. I don't know what to think, to be honest with you. So Adam,
yeah,
Cole Kmet,
agreed.
I think he might have the path to like start year 1 more than Trotman because obviously Jared Cook's there. But it's just kind of like one Jared Cook's super old, but Jimmy Graham, they signed Jimmy Graham to like a lot of money, so I think he might get more playing time than we expect. It was like 2 years, 16 mil, and he looked washed on the Packers. So Bears aren't smart, but like maybe the money speaks, right? They're probably playing Komet like 2 mil. They're probably gonna pay this guy like 8 mil. So interesting, but Trotman's my number 1 here, and I guess we'll just jump into Trotman here. Trotman posted 1,000 yards, I believe, at Dayton his last year. I tried to look up his age and I could not find it. Apparently, no one knows how old this guy is. I'm gonna guess he's 22 or 23, a little bit older there. Cole Kmet might be 22. I don't exactly know all their ages, but I think Trotman has the most receiving upside here too. I feel a little more confident about this now that I know that Jameis Winston time with the Saints for 1 year. So maybe Jameis Winston after Drew Brees retires will be a Saint, and maybe they'll give him like a 1 year deal. And Jameis Winston will make anybody fantasy valuable. So that's why I really like Adam Trotman there too. When Drew Brees stays for 2 years, and maybe Jared Cook's gone after a year. Obviously Drew Brees has already been training with CBS, I believe. I heard that today to been learning that role. So obviously retirement's on his mind. So yeah, I like Trotman more than Komet for fantasy purposes. Komet, if he starts, could definitely produce more year 1. Speaking of producing year 1, though, this is where we really disagree here. You're more of an I'm definitely a Dalton Keaton fan. That's our consensus third tight end here. John had him at 2. You didn't have Dalton Keaton ranked, and you had another Patriots tight end ranked.
Yeah, Devin Asiasi, where they drafted 10 picks before Dalton Keene. I believe he's the better pass catcher of the two, which is why I was surprised you guys liked him so much. They're both similar athletes, both similar sizes, stuff like that. But I think Asiasi is that better pass catcher, whereas I think Dalton Keene is that more better blocker. He's a good pass blocker. You can put him in as a quarterback protector. He's good in the run. He's decent in the run game as long as you don't put him in line. But he's more that blocker role, and I feel like that's what he's going to fill more. And sure, he's a decent pass catcher, but I think Asiasi is going to be that pass catcher on that team, that pass catching tight end. I feel like that's who they're going to go with, and they're going to split the tight end room between blocking and pass catching in that.
Yeah, I get where you're going there. I kind of disagree on the athleticism part. Dalton King blew up the combine. I believe he was an 80th percentile plus Spark X score, and Aussie did pretty bad on the 40 time there. I believe it was like 280 though. So, you know, it was like
his 40 was like 0.02 seconds slower than King.
Yeah, but just overall, so it's just it's more than just that though. You know, 3-cone, you know, burst, you know, all that type of stuff. It's more than just raw speed for, you know, an athlete. Let's be real here. So Dalton King's definitely I think he's the better athlete personally. If you look on player profile there. Yeah, nothing else to really say there. So looking at the rankings here, the next consensus guy is Harrison Bryant.
I want to go back.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Asiasi didn't run the 3-cone, so you can't hate on him for that.
I don't think he run as fast. I'm just saying with what we know. You know, I didn't mean that in the fact that Aussie is bad at it, but we just don't know. And we know Dalton King's a good athlete.
I'm just getting at you. I'm just
That's
making fun.
You know, this Tyler Crass is so trash. So whatever, man.
Easy to make fun of.
Easy to make fun of, definitely. One of those Patriot tight ends might be producing some numbers eventually. So it'll be interesting to see who. They have nobody there. Guys like N'Keal Harry, Julian Edelman, I think their stocks rise. They drafted no wide receivers, so there's a lot of targets there in New England. So it'd be cool to see. Harrison Bryant, though, our number 4, I believe went to the Browns. A third tight end is our number 4 tight end. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I think it's just Thaddeus Moss I might have ranked, even though he's undrafted and went to the Redskins. It's such a bad rank, bro. But Harrison, I was just thinking, I'm like, Harrison Bryant, really? He's our number 4? Oh my God. It's just because we had all 3 of them. He was ranked for all 3 of us here. If David Njoku's gone, he's Baker Mayfield's tight end too. But Harrison Bryant was pretty good at FIU, I believe. Posted 1,000 yards himself. I don't know if he won that tight end award that they win at, what is it, the what was his name, played for the Colts, I believe. Dallas Clark, like Dallas Clark won it, but I don't know, sorry, that's not the name of the award, I can't remember. But Dallas Clark won it. I was trying to tap into your Colts knowledge to figure out what the damn award was named, bro.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But John Mackey? That's another position.
That sounds right.
Might be the John Mackey.
Yeah, John Mackey.
It might be another position too. Don't quote me.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Because Mackey was our tight end.
Yeah, it could be it. So, you know, whatever. So I think he was in that race for that. So he was pretty good, but the Browns are a crap landing spot here. So I'm just kind of going, I'll just stick with my big board here. Talent wins, but none of these guys are talented. Do you have anything to add about this dude?
Harrison Bryant, I have him at 4 strictly because that talent. I believe he's the most talented tight end in the class. It's just the landing spot is horrible. I mean, and in this class, if you're the most talented tight end, that doesn't mean much of anything in this class. Because as the most talented tight end, I still had him outside my top 50 going into the draft. So it's a really rough class at the position. But he was my top guy, and that's why I have him still up there somewhat. But the situation is bad. He's going to be that number 3 guy. I believe he can get that number 2 and maybe even push for the number 1 role. So I think he has the upside to get there. But as it stands, he is that tight end 3, and that's where it's scary to me.
Yeah, definitely. For my consensus tight end 5, I didn't even have this guy ranked as Colby Parkinson. I guess the only reason why probably is because he plays with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it's a similar situation to Harrison Bryant. It's Harrison Bryant's going to be that tight end 3, and Colby Parkinson is that tight end 3 or tight end 4. I mean, he's playing behind
Greg Olsen.
What is it? Greg Olsen, Will Disley, and they have another tight end, but he could be that wide receiver or that tight end 3. I believe he has the potential, similar to Harrison Bryant, to push for that tight end 1 role. He's a massive target. Has great hands, great red zone guy. And he's honestly one of the better pass catching tight ends in the draft. But I'm just scared that that landing spot, because he is that buried in the depth chart guy.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I have nothing to add. I didn't even have the guy ranked. I feel like I shouldn't waste everyone's time. Albert O is our number 6 consensus. Snan didn't have him ranked. We both had these guys ranked. I liked Albert O a lot. He was my number 1 tight end. I thought, tight ends are normally super athletic, and he ran such a fast 40. I was surprised. 4.5 flat, I believe. He's a big guy too. Fell off once Kelly Bryant went to Mizzo and Drew Lock left, but now he's reunited with Drew Lock. Problem? Kind of behind Noah Fant. So yeah,
I like. He's buried, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him as much because I wasn't as high on him going into the draft process.
Yeah.
If you ask me last season, he was my tight end 1 going into this. But then after that, there were some guys that did a little bit better, and he did a bit worse, and it kind of shifted around. And he fell all the way to my, I believe, tight end 5, tight end 6. And now he's going to an offense where they just drafted Noah Fant last season in the first round. And he's not going to be that tight end 1. He's the guy that won't push for the tight end 1. But he could be a decent tight end 2. And if Fant goes down, he is that perfect replacement pretty much as a fast, speedy tight end that can run up the seam and make plays. He is Noah Fant, pretty much just a lot worse.
Yeah.
But he's that type of tight end.
I really liked Albert O. It sucks. Hunter Bryan went to the Lions. Just thinking some other names. Thaddeus Moss to the Redskins. He could have some opportunity there, but I don't think he was that good. Didn't do much at LSU with that offense popping.
Right.
I don't really know other names I feel like mentioning.
Hunter Bryant. I'd have to look it up.
There's like that 3rd round tight end from the Packers, but I heard he might play fullback, so I feel like we should waste your guys' time. Don't draft one of these tight ends. Maybe Kmet and Trotman like the 3rd or 4th, but like don't waste your time.
If you're going late, go for one late round if you're going to, and hope that they do well in year 1. But don't just go in expecting them to help.
Yeah, these guys aren't worth your time. But you know what is worth your time? Subscribing here to the Fantasy Flavor Podcast on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Leaving us a 5-star rating, leaving us a like, leaving us a comment. Keep supporting. Because if you support, we upload more. So thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic rest of your day.